Really?
Harry Kane is often accused of being a slow starter to the season, and more often than not, his goal scoring record, which is in fact quite imperious, doesn't often get started in the early parts of the season. In fact, August is generally the time when he's still getting to grips with the speed of the new season. He's still getting into full fitness. This time around, however, in the 2022-33 season, he's made quite the epic start and in fact has gone on to score another record and perhaps potentially give an indication to the fact that Tottenham Hotspur might just very well be on their path to be ending their trophy drought very, very soon. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sports Today. My name is Shane Rice and today we are going to be talking about this man right here, Harry Kane. The fact that he's actually gone on to break one record, he's close to breaking another record, and he might just be the man who will fire Tottenham to their first trophy in quite a while. Can that happen? Well, that's something that we're going to discuss now. But first, let's take a look at the records that he has broken. Again, he scored in Tottenham's 1-0 Premier League win over Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that one goal that he scored was a record-breaking goal. Why? Because he now has the most Premier League goals for a single club. That record, of course, previously belonged to Sergio Aguero. Kane is now one goal ahead and will obviously end his career far more many goals ahead of Kun Aguero, who we remember left City to join Barca, but then unfortunately had to retire due to a heart issue. And if you look at the list of top 5 goal scorers, Kane finds himself topping some seriously elite company, because in third place you have Wayne Rooney, who scored 183 goals. In fourth place, you have Thierry Henry, who netted 175 goals during his time at Arsenal. And at number 5, you have Alan Shearer, who of course scored those many goals for Newcastle United. But you also have to remember that whilst Kane stands ahead of Shearer in this particular list, there is another record that Kane will be targeting that belongs to Shearer, which is of course the highest goal scorer in the history of the Premier League. Of course, Kane is still some ways away from that. The record is of course 260, which he will need to beat, but given the amount of time Kane still has left in his career, you'd be only a very only a fool would probably bet against him at least coming close to that record, if not entirely beating it. But that isn't the only record. And again, Kane is someone who his love for scoring goals has seen him break a lot of records during his career. And there is another record that he's actually coming very close to breaking, and that of course is the record of the all-time highest goal scorer for Tottenham Hotspur. Now again, Kane's goal which he scored was not only his 185th Premier League goal, it was also his 250th goal that he scored for Tottenham in a competitive game. Now again, for years the record for the most goals scored for Tottenham has belonged to English great Jimmy Greaves, who still holds the record with 266 goals. Kane is only 17 goals away from breaking that record, and of course 16 goals away from equaling it. But if you look at the other names here, you have Bobby Smith, who scored 208, you have Martin Chivers, who scored 174, and you of course have Cliff Jones with 159. These are all Tottenham greats, undisputed all-time greats for Tottenham Hotspur. Kane will of course, by the time his career comes to an end, be sitting atop that major pile, this pile of absolute legends of the club. Which of course brings us to the next thing, and that is of course, if you remember last season, there was a lot of talk about Harry Kane finally looking to make the move on from his boyhood club and perhaps join another club. Again, in the 2021-22 season, the major speculation that was linking him to Manchester City. So there was a lot of talk. He went public with his desire for a move and said very clearly that I would like a new challenge. I don't see me winning trophies at Tottenham Hotspur. I think I'll need to move on to another club. He went very public with his desire to leave. However, Spurs chairman Daniel Levy stood firm. He said, no, we're not selling Kane. He still has 2 years on his contract. We are not selling him under any circumstances. We'd rather lose him next season on a cut price deal than sell him now, because the move was only materializing very late in the window. However, as things stand, that City option seems all but shut out, because remember, City this summer signed Erling Haaland. So there are very few sweeters at this point who could possibly match both what Tottenham would want for him in terms of a transfer fee and also match his wage demands. Manchester United are an obvious candidate. They do really need a striker, a reliable striker who can score 20-30 goals a season. However, it doesn't seem like he will go to United at this point because, well, he's already getting Champions League football at Spurs anyway, and Spurs are actually on a far more upward trajectory at this point than what, United are really. They're not, United at this point are still undergoing a massive rebuild, and any results from that rebuild will come at least 2 to 3 seasons from now. Spurs right now, the way they've started the season, they've looked very, very good, and more importantly, they look likely, even if they might not win the Premier League, they came very, very close to actually, breaking their trophy drought, and they might just end up, making a good run in either the League Cup or the FA Cup, and that in itself would also represent progress for Kane, who we know for a fact has been very, very frustrated at his lack of trophies. However, Spurs have done very, very well, not only to sign Antonio Conte, who was available and out of work when they got him in the middle of last season. They've also backed him to the hilt in the transfer market. Remember, the owners invested money into the club, so they had extra money for new signings. They made about 7-8 signings this summer, so the squad looks very, very good. The players look to have totally bought into Conte's ways. Kane himself is looking fitter than ever. He's looking much sharper, and of course, the addition of the likes of Kulusevski, who came, in the middle of last season, and Richarlison have added a lot more to Spurs' attack. The defense looks a lot more solid. So at this point, Spurs are very much one of those clubs who are back on the up again, and Conte is a key part of that. But Conte also knows how important this man, Harry Kane, is to that particular, team. So the next major question is that will he stay at the club now? And again, as I was explaining before, it doesn't seem likely he's going anywhere at this point unless one of the bigger clubs in Europe comes calling. But again, who would those be? I highly doubt a Bayern Munich would be interested. Paris Saint-Germain already have enough forwards at this point, you would think. Real and Barcelona, well, they don't really have the kind of money that could be afforded for Kane, either in terms of a transfer fee or even the wage bill. Maybe Real could afford his wages, but there's no guarantee that they'd be able to front up the kind of money that Daniel Levy would, of course, be asking for their star man. So English options, again, as I said, there were maybe 3 options he had. He could have gone to Manchester City, which looks like a no-go since they have Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez. Manchester United, but again, he'd be joining a club slightly lower on the totem pole, in my humble opinion. Chelsea would also be an option, but given the kind of rivalry that Spurs have with Chelsea and the kind of affiliation he has with the club, I don't think he'd want to burn those bridges. And in fact, that was one reason why he was barely linked to Chelsea, even when he was very publicly available for transfer. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think that, Kane could be the man who will finally end that trophy drought for Tottenham, and with Conte, he's finally got the manager that they can potentially go on to actually challenge for and win more trophies in the future? Or do you think that with the kind of form that he's still showing, he should maybe look for a transfer? Do let us know in the comments below, and show us your love by liking this video and of course sharing with your friends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course don't forget to tap the bell icon so that you know when it is we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Also, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and last but not least, don't forget to download the SportsTak app for more breaking news updates from the world of sports. As always, I've been Shane Dias. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you all again very